All right, people, what is going on? Back with another episode of the VF Cast, episode 39. I am VF Baller, and over here we talk about gaming. Hopefully everything you have accomplished this weekend you have already. If you haven't, it's not too late. So thank you guys for the support. You know, small channel, but you guys come around and listen all the time. I really appreciate it, the ones who do. And we're going to talk about going to the flea market this weekend or today. I'm going to take my son to the flea market after I finish this episode, and I want him to share that experience that I shared because when I was younger, I used to go to the flea market and get like toys or whatever, and I may try to get into a little bit of video game hunting, even though video game hunting has kind of died off at the flea market. I'm going to give you, my experience of what I've been through ever since I was a young kid going to the flea market, and hopefully we can rekindle that same, experience with my son. So let's go ahead and get into this. When I was younger, let's say around about 6-7 years old, we used to go to the flea market just to buy like toys and eat some of the food there, just to hang out and have fun. And basically, I think my mom used to just take us there just to kill time. So I never really understood it until I got older, like what was the flea market all about. I just thought it was a place where people just, sold stuff, which mainly that's what it is. But I just thought it was just a place where everybody went. As I got a little bit older, I started to realize, okay, we can buy stuff out of here that's like for real. Like we could buy stuff. And it was pretty cool because back then I was mostly trying to buy like cassettes and CDs, and because I'm really big on music. And people may not know it, but I really love music a lot. And I used to love like buying like the old like bootleg, copies of CDs or CDs that people don't want anymore, or cassettes or whatever of my favorite rap music. And, I used to do that when I was around like 10, 11, 12. But once around like the late 90s, early 2000s hit, that's when video games started to be sold. Okay, now don't get me wrong. Video games were sold way back then, but when video games were sold back then, like mid 90s, people were like offloading like video games for dirt cheap. Like you used to find a Super Nintendo for around $20 to $30. It was no way. I mean, it was like simple, like really cheap to find one. It wasn't like really, it's nowhere near where it is now. But back then, like you can get a Super Nintendo for 25, an NES for like maybe 15. I don't even want to get into Atari. Atari was super cheap back then. And it was really dope back then because even though a lot of people wasn't really into that type of, it wasn't really retro back then, but looking back on it now, like, man, I would love to find like a Super Nintendo for like $20, you know what I'm saying? But it was cool. But late 90s, to early 2000s, that's when, people started to pick up a little bit. Gaming started to get a little bit more expensive. Some cartridges, like Super Nintendo cartridges, was starting to go up in price. And it was still affordable, but it was going up in price. You weren't finding like $20 systems anymore, and as you got older or whatever, around like the mid 2000s to about 2012, that's when it started to blow up. Prices just started to go up, especially at the flea market. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to find anything there today, but I want to go just to see what's there because I'm kind of curious. I also want my son to experience because my son loves to go in places, go shopping. We go to the grocery store, he try to buy everything. We go to the mall, he wants to buy everything. We go to an outlet, he wants to buy everything, but he's never been to a flea market. So I think it'd be really cool to experience that today. And if I find anything, I'm definitely gonna let you guys know. Definitely gonna do a video on that if I find anything. But for the most part, gaming at the flea market, having an adventure with my son, I think it's going to be a really cool experience because I know him. He's probably going to find one or two toys that he like. He's going to be fine. He finds a car, a truck, or a teddy bear or whatever. What he likes, PJ Masks or Paw Patrol. He likes any of that stuff. He's good. Me personally, I'm going to be looking at the games. If they have any there, I'm going to be looking to see what they have. And I'll be really surprised if they really have like games like that. Because now I haven't been to a flea market since like 2016, 2017. And, the pandemic didn't help either. But I know that helped with prices go up. Because even when I was, even before the pandemic, when I used to go to these stores, like once like 2013 hit, like flea market prices just went up on games. I mean, it was ridiculous. I remember one lady was trying to sell. Now this was back in 2016. A lady was trying to sell N64 for almost 175. I mean, it was really bad. I mean, it was so bad to the point I was like, all right, what are we doing here? And I mean, another lady was trying to sell well, I don't know if it was a couple or whatever. They were trying to sell PS2 games like $30 a piece. So I can imagine what it is now, since I haven't been there in like 5-6 years. But I'm going to go there and maybe I'll find something that I like. Another thing I want to do is, I want to show my son like the whole process of buying stuff at a flea market, because it's totally different buying from a store. I mean, you get to see the stuff like hands on. You can communicate with the people on a different level. Because my son, he loves doing that type. He loves buying stuff. He knows the concept of buying stuff and putting stuff on the counter and giving money. He knows that process. But I think it'd be really interesting for him to see that. It'd be interesting for him to see that different type of interaction. I think that'd be really, really cool for him to see. And also just to figure out what things that he may like or he may not like, things that he may want to see as far as, or things that he may want to buy as far as what different toys, some sports items, because he's into sports as well. Maybe he might see a football or basketball that he may like, or whatever the case may be. It's just going to be really interesting to see his reaction being at a flea market. And for me, I think my wife is going to go too. So if she goes, I already know how she's going to be, with this, because she likes to look at stuff like different things around the house, all this other stuff. And for me, I'm going straight for the video games. If they have any, I'm going to go for them. If not, I'm sure they got music stuff there. I'm going to be looking at some stuff as far as music like I used to do back in the day. And I got an item that I bought. I'll talk about that before I get out of here, that I purchased that I'm really excited about, that I'm gonna show you guys. But I feel that I got a feeling I can find a pretty good deal on a couple of games today. And I don't need any games per se. I got all the games that I really want for the most part. My thing is, I want to get games that I find curious that I never really seen before. Some obscure game or something like that. I'm curious if I can find that, because you never know what people may have in their personal possession that they don't want anymore. It's one thing I kind of like going to yard sales, but the way I work, I never could really catch a yard sale when I want to. So therefore, I can't really catch one like whenever whatever the case may be, as far as going to a yard sale on the weekend. Usually I like to go early on Saturdays when they're first get them. When they first start to put this stuff out, I can't find anything. Same thing like with a flea market. You want to get there on Saturdays, but flea markets are kind of different than the yard sales. Like usually they have their stuff that they're going to continue to have. They're going to have their stuff that they're usually going to continue to have throughout the week. There's not like a first come, first serve thing with the flea market thing, because yard sales are like, look, we're just going to be here for the weekend. Come get it. We're good. If not, we're going to throw it away. Flea markets is usually like every weekend the same vendors there, so they kind of have the same type of stuff, or they just have stuff most people may not find interesting, and it just sits. Now for me, I'm different. I know I find all kind of things interesting. I mean, that's why I have all this stuff I find interesting. So I'm really happy to go on a Sunday, because usually on Sundays the stuff usually still be there, and Sundays the crowd is not as big because everybody usually go on a Saturday. And on Sunday, most people like fall back and stay home. So that's like right up my alley, like I said. And I know a lot has changed for the good and the bad since the pandemic has come and gone, where you may have more people out there now, and you may have more of a situation where there's more people trying to offload stuff, because a lot of people had a lot more time home. A lot of people feel like, hey, now I can go and get some of the stuff, give some of the stuff away that I I thought I had. And that's where the opportunity comes in, the way I may find some video games. So that's something that I really want to do and want to look into. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of curious if I will find anything. Babe, put that back down. And I'll be really curious if I find anything, because, like I said, it's like a balance of the two. I don't know what games I'm going to find, because the retro game scene is going crazy now, because I did a video about that, about pricing and all this other stuff. And I don't know, what to do with, certain games in the flea market space, because it's not the same as like going to the store, like I talked about in another episode, where going to the store and having a rapport with people is not the same when you're trying to have a rapport with people at the flea market, because that's a place I don't go to every weekend. And you have some people who go to a flea market every weekend, but I'm not one of those people. I'd rather go to one of my video game stores that I have here in the city and pretty much go there. Now, sadly, I think it's only like one store that's open on the weekends. One store that's open on the Sunday, maybe two. And I may go to those. I don't know. But I may go to those on Sundays, but mostly I go to them throughout the week because it's easier for me to go to. Yeah, because like usually on the weekends I don't have the time, basically. So what I would do is mostly, find a way to go throughout the week, like I said. As far as trying to bargain at a flea market is slightly different, because sometimes you'll find a situation where it's almost time to go for the vendors, and you'll go there and try to say, hey, you don't want to take this back home with you. Let me get that. And they mostly be like, okay, I'll go ahead and let you have it, or whatever the case may be. Or I'll let you, get a good price on it. So that's one of the, a really good sign as far as going to the flea market and getting that together, as far as buying stuff. One thing about the flea markets that I've done before is what I've done before is like I'll find a few things and I'll bundle it together, and sometimes I'll just talk them down to getting, a pretty decent price. I think you can do that with pretty much anything, though. You can bundle things and get a decent price if you put things together. Say, hey, look, this is 10, this is 12, this is another 10, so that'll be 32. But if I get all three, can I get all three for like 30? For like 25 or something. So you can. One thing about flea market is a lot easier to get deals on a lot of stuff, because a lot of people have their personal, off inventory, and sometimes they don't want to take that stuff back home and have to bring it back next week. Sometimes they can get money off of it, and it'll be easier for them. So that's one good thing about that. I've been to various flea markets throughout my time. I've been to the one in Jacksonville, one in Charleston, one in Savannah, one here where I live here in Columbia, South Carolina. I've been to couple of them in Atlanta. One thing I like about Atlanta, though, Atlanta has a lot of indoor flea markets. The flip side to that is they treat those indoor flea markets like it's a real store. So you can't do the same thing you could do with outside flea markets. Does that make sense? So they treat them as like a store where you can't really talk them down. And that's one thing I've always noticed about that. There's a couple other flea markets I want to go to, but I don't know. Like I said, this is my first time going back for like 6 years. So I don't know how that's going to play out today. But I'm really interested to see. You got that? Let me get it, baby. Thank you. I just don't know how that's going to play out as far as the experience today. So it's kind of new for me as well. It's going to be an adventure for me. But I feel like at the end of the day, I think we'll be able to find some good things there. And I think that's the real important thing, as far as finding some good stuff, having a good time, having a good experience. And I feel that with my son and how enthusiastic he is, if you can see him, he's amazing. He loves to jump around and play. He's going to be really good at sports. But for him to experience it, and he's going to have a tons of fun. I know he is, because that's right up his alley. I can't wait to see how it's going to be with him and see the things that he may want compared to what I used to want when I was young. And I know he's only 3. He has a long way to go, but he's very inquisitive. He really likes to get into things and learn what it is. And he loves to buy stuff, things that he likes. He loves to show what he likes and show me what he likes and wants me to buy it for him. So I think at the end of the day, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a new experience for me, because we haven't been to the flea market like forever. So I can't wait to see how it goes. Turned out to be a fairly short episode, not too long, well, around about the same time, like only 15, 20 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you understand where I was coming from. Flea market adventure with my son. I think it's going to be a little different, and I want to figure this out how this is going to play out, because I think it's going to be a little different than what I was when 5-6 years ago when I was there. And I'll give you guys a full report if I find anything, and I'll do a video on that later down the road. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys for making it this far. I really appreciate it. If you like this information, you like this content, hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one. What is it, baby? Oh, the pillow won't work? I'll fix it, baby. Wait till I finish this. I'll fix it. Tell everybody bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, y'all. I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Peace.
Bye-bye, Daddy.
Oh, by the way, before I go, I want to tell you guys what I bought. I forgot to tell you guys. I bought a record player. So I'm going to be putting this up over here where the other side of the room I never showed y'all yet. It's not a mess, but it just needs to be redone. And I'm going to put my music stuff over there, starting with this. And I'm going to get my CD player and my MP3 players, all that together. It's going to be one big music area. Also, I bought this vinyl. The best of Tupac, one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite albums, greatest hits, and I can just play it on the vinyl and just have some fun. So, "Resist the Temptation" is a song they call "Resist the Temptation." It's a beautiful song, and just want to let you know I bought that, and it's pretty cool. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.